Hi everyone. I'm just waiting for Kylie to jump on in and we'll start our session. I can't wait to have you all meeting Kylie. Bear with me. Hi Kylie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Congratulations. Welcome to the Support Worker Live. And
Thank
I'm so glad to have you because I have so many questions to ask and I hope you're prepared. I'm so sorry. I'm so nosy as well.
you.
So I'm going to ask a heap of them. And I want to ask them because I'm so curious because I'd love to know, like, when did you start your business?
Yeah,
Like,
so actually in May this year, it will be 5 years as a support coordinator.
yeah,
Before that, I was a disability support worker for a year before I transitioned over to support coordination. So very close to coming up to 5 years now.
so what made you do the jump from support worker to support coordination? Because it is a big jump. Like, it's not the same. It's very different. What was the jumping moment for you?
Yeah, so when I was supporting participants with as a support worker, I found it quite frustrating that I was reaching out to support coordinators and asking for them to support the participant. It might have been, I guess, a big moment for me was a participant that needed their wheelchair wheels serviced, and it took basically a month to get a response. And that was quite concerning to me because it was a
Yeah,
safety risk.
yeah,
I was taking this participant out into the community. So not only a risk to the participant, but a risk to myself, to other people in the community as well, if there was something to happen. So it kind of resulted in her being a bit more isolated.
yeah,
And the participant was saying, can't you just do this? And I'm like, I can, but it's really important to
yeah,
stay in your lane.
yeah.
And, there's someone that's meant to be doing this job. So I think from that moment, I decided that, you know what, there can be much better service delivery in this area. I didn't know much about support
Yeah.
coordination, but I, I knew I had the passion and thought I can teach myself everything else if I invest into that.
I feel like that's how we all start. We go, you know what? I
Yeah.
can do it better. Why not? What have I got to? I honestly do. I feel like a lot of businesses in the NDIS sector start with, I can do a better job than
Yeah.
that, and I think that's because what we see. So, how did you get? Like, how did you come up with the name? Like, how did you even pick the name to begin
Yeah.
with?
A lot of people ask that. So prior
Yeah.
to this space, I used to own fitness centers on the Gold Coast with my
Yeah.
husband, and it was at a time that I wanted to get out of that. And I did my health
Yeah.
coaching business and well, my health coaching course, I guess, and wanted to start that. And that's where Health Emporium came about.
Yeah.
But then I realized that was not my passion. I saw my nephew who had a disability and an
Yeah.
informal support. That's how I kind of got into support work. And to be
Yeah.
honest, I was like, I am not going and doing all this rebranding again. It's really not about a name. It's about the service that you deliver. You could be called X and it really
Yep.
doesn't matter. So
Well,
that's how it came
I
about.
must admit, like, I do like the fact that it hasn't got the word disability, able, any community. It's, yeah, out there in that sense that you are on your own. Like, it's kind of cool. I like it.
Thanks.
So you did start with yourself, but you've actually got quite a big team
Yeah.
from what I can gather. So how did you start with one and grow it and scale it to where it is now?
Yeah. So I guess when I started, I had that vision of what was next for me when I got out of the fitness industry. And it's always been about helping others. And this
Yeah,
was obviously another area that I could do that. And I remember at the time thinking, I've built one business, why can't I build another
yeah,
if I have that
yeah,
passion? And we lived in an acreage estate at the time, and it might sound very weird, but I used to walk around the estate, and my vision was, I just want to impact 3 more people this month.
yeah,
And to be honest, it actually just organically grew like that. And then it got bigger than me,
yeah.
and it was, okay, we'll just get a couple of support coordinators. And today it's, I don't know, 20 plus coordinators. So has come with its challenges
That,
building, but I am super
yeah,
blessed
but
with an
that's
incredible
impressive.
team.
That's really impressive because a lot of people it starts with one and then it slowly builds, but to get to 20 plus, that's a lot. And then with the sector as well to onboard a new support coordinator and to train them and to make sure that
Mm.
the value is in line, that it is a lot of work. So when you're picking support workers to be on your team, how do you do you look for, is it the skill set or is it a personality thing? Like, how do you pick your support workers to work under your
Yeah.
brand?
Yeah, so it is really hard. Support coordination is a really niche area, and I think a lot of people, the people that we seem to have attracted are honestly people that have been in the industry for a long time. They've been support workers, they've
Yep.
been teachers, maybe in a disability school, and a lot of people have kind of come from a space where they feel that they're trapped by too many layers of corporate and they
Yep.
can't make a difference. So they feel that coming in and being able to do this, they have the knowledge, they have the transferable
Yep.
skills. But another massive thing we look for is their personality, and because we have an incredible culture here at Healthy Emporium, so we want to make sure that they're in alignment with our values, and that they're going to get along with the wider team as well, because
Yep.
that's really important to us. We have a beautiful culture, and I don't want that to ever change.
I can tell. I've had some interactions with some of your team members. They're very bubbly. They're a fun bunch, and I think it's infectious as well. And I think when people are happy in a workplace, it spreads and it grows and it shows.
Yeah, definitely.
So I get this a lot because I do a lot with support workers, and support workers always ask me, how do I get the attention from a support coordinator? And with how, if I was a support worker, and because you're from the Gold Coast, is that right? Queensland?
Yeah, so we
Yep.
are, Northern New South Wales, Brisbane, Sunshine Coast,
Yep.
and we now have a beautiful team in South Australia as well, which is
Oh,
exciting.
wow. Okay. How do I get in front of you? As a support worker, because I am looking, because I've become an independent, I've worked for a provider, how do I get in front of you to be a support worker of choice?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is how the emails and the connection comes through. To us, we want to build genuine, authentic relationships. I'll be quite honest and frank about it. There's nothing worse than getting an email in my inbox and saying, hey, I'm a support worker, I have capacity, do you have any clients?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I'm going to delete that email straight away.
I was actually talking to somebody today that the biggest turn off and red flag for me is the word capacity.
Yes.
And like, what do you mean? I said, well, to me, capacity, it's like it's got all, it's the wording, it's the way it's said. There is a way to say that I've got availability in my roster without using the word capacity. If I could ban the word capacity, I would. I understand that capacity works for speeches, for physios. I get that because in particular areas, I understand that. But for support workers, capacity, I don't know. It just gives me the ick.
Yeah. And honestly, before I answer that question, just touching on that, I always, even when people come to us and ask, do you have capacity? I actually say, I'm not actually the one that does it anymore. My beautiful Nat does, but she would, be saying, we're actually not sure, because I actually don't know. We might have, some of the staff that have capacity, but it might not be the right fit for you.
Yeah.
So although I can say, yeah, we do, I actually don't know. So I always answer that question of, actually don't know if I've got capacity.
Yep.
Tell me more about what you're looking for, and then we can see if we have capacity for you. But with support workers, it's like, build that genuine connection, share a little bit with me about, your experience, who you want to work with. Like, do you want to work with psychosocial? Have you worked with a lot of ABI? Like, what's your area of interest? How long have you been doing this for? What are your values? Like, obviously the people that are, the participants that are with us, come to us because they're in alignment with our values and how we do things. So if you do things very differently, then most likely our participants are not going to be in alignment with that support worker. So our reputation is built a lot on the people that we're recommending to our participants. So
100%.
I want to make sure that before I recommend you to anybody, like anyone to them, that I've actually had a bit of an information about them and know that this is what I know about them, this is their values, this is their experience. So I think just being more genuine and authentic, not coming in to earn more money, come in to make a difference, because the income that you earn is a byproduct of the amount of impact you have on someone's life. Whereas people think about the money, not the impact.
All right, so good a question. You touched on something. I'm so curious about this one. So just say you got a referral and an intake and it comes to you. How do you pick which person as a support coordinator, recovery coach, how do you pick which spot this person would better suit when it comes to your staffing pool? Like, I know that some parts have got to do with where they live, but how do you pick them? It's not like dip. I dare say it's got to do with skill sets that each support coordinator has that could meet this person. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, so that is actually a massive process. And I think sometimes people can be like, why haven't you got back to me yet? Why? And it's like, because we actually have a bit of a process behind the scenes to ensure that it's right. So that referral will come to Nat. It will go to our general manager, Zoe, who is across the whole team. Zoe will then look at the location. Do they need face-to-face? Because if they do, we want to make sure we're maximising their funding and not using too much on travel. That's the last thing we want to be doing, is spending all your money on travel, right? We want to help you get the things implemented in your plans. We're looking at that. If they're happy with remote, it opens up a bigger pool of people. And then from there, Zoe's going to look at, okay, do they have experience in the disability and the things that the challenges that they're faced with right now? Like, it might be someone that needs help with SDA, and they've got a brain injury. That coordinator might be really good with brain injury, but has zero knowledge on SDA. So that's actually not a right fit. So once Zoe has that, I guess 2 or 3 or whatever it might be, she will then reach out to those staff to make sure, this is a little bit about the participant. Do you feel you're the right fit and you have capacity, you are on top of all your caseload, all of those kind of things. And it's only then that it'll go back to Nat. Nat has beautiful bios on all of our staff, and she can share that with the participants. So then hopefully they've got a couple of options of, these are the people, have a look and see who might be the right fit for you.
So pretty much Zoe's your ultimate matchmaker.
Yeah, pretty much.
I did have this question come in, and it's a bit of a cheeky one, and I hope you're ready for it. I got one that says, true or false? Do support coordinators start with small hours and build their way up to gain trust with independent support workers first?
Yes, that is pretty true. Like, make sure I understood that properly. Yes, we are not going to connect with the support worker and put you in with the participant on a 24/7 roster. It's not going to work. We're setting everybody up for failure in that situation.
So it is in the best interest for any independents or any providers to start off with especially if you're a new support coordinator together, to start supporting people with 2 hours supports and then building your way up.
Making sure that participant has that time to build the trust. You got to remember, in this space, a lot of participants haven't had good experiences, you know, and they need to build that trust with you that you are that right fit, and we'll both know when that's the right time to start to increase that. And everyone will go at a different pace. We're all individuals. Some might increase the next day, be like, absolutely love you, please come back for 8 hours. Others might be like, actually, no, I need a bit more time. And I think it's really important to be like, that's actually okay, and that journey's perfect how it goes.
100%. I knew it, but I got asked it. I was like, 100. I reckon that's totally true. Sorry. So with all this, because it's pretty successful. Like, your business is pretty successful when, like, on reflection, like, because 5 years ago you started with you, and then you built it up to your 20-something team across all of Australia. What has been the most successful thing that you've seen in your team?
Yeah, I'm actually going to share. I'm going to take the little story win here because it's super close to my heart. Look, there's so many stories amongst the team, and I see it, and the team shouting out and giving everyone credit, which is so beautiful. But a story for me was when I very first started, and I went to a participant's home, autism, and he really didn't want to leave his room at all. Mum had said basically she had tried everything and nothing had worked. And so we looked at the plan, had a very, very small plan at the time. It was probably like about $20,000. We were like 9 months into this and of a 12-month plan, and nothing had been used because she just was lost. She didn't know where to start. And, you know, I said to Mum, what have you tried? I've tried speech therapy, psychology, all these things. And I said, so how come these haven't worked? And she said, he just won't do it. So I encouraged the participant. I had a very minute little time for him to come out off his gaming. And I just said to him, what do you want? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? And he said to me, I want to learn to drive a forklift and be a truck driver because that's what my dad does. And this young person was only 16 at the time. And I said, okay, so in order to do these things, these are the things that we're going to need to work on. You know, in order to get a forklift license, we naturally need to be able to read, write, do those kind of things.
Yeah.
So are you open to doing some things? So we went through, he'd also had quite a significant weight gain. Mum had tried personal training, it didn't work. And I said, what is your passion? And he said, I love football, but unfortunately with the size and bullying, he wasn't able to play football anymore. So fast forward, without going through every single step, because it'd be on the whole night on this live.
I'm all ears. I love hearing them, to be honest.
This participant started to reach out to me and ask, you know, to get into different connections. We got into speech therapy because before speech therapy, the way that Mum shared it to him was, you need to go to a speech therapist because you need to learn to speak better. And he's like, I don't care how I speak. That's everyone else's problem. I don't care. I'm fine. I got no problem.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a purpose for speech therapy, but I shared to him, what about if you go to speech therapy to learn about reading and writing, so that can assist you with getting your learners because you want to get a driver's license. You're going to have to learn to read the test questions and all those things. And that's going to progress to your forklift and all of those kind of things. And he's like, when can I get in? You know, so he got into that. He did a TAFE course. He started to work on his psychology for mental health. We went from about 220 kilos down to about 130, not by a personal trainer. We got a support worker that took him to the football field and kicked the football around because that's what he loved doing and he just wanted to do more of it. So he was incidentally exercising without realizing that you're actually still kind of doing a bit of personal training in that sense. So fast forward, it's been probably 4 or 5 years. He was one of my very, very first participants. I'm happy to say he has his driver's license, forklift license, and I'm pretty sure he got a heavy rigid truck or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a lot around that buy-in from the participant. It's not about anyone else's goals, and often it's not about the goals on the NDIS plan. They're written for the NDIS, but underneath those, you need to break them down to ask the participant, what's your goal and what do you want to achieve? Because once you're working towards that, they're going to get that buy-in and want to do all the different therapies and supports that you're suggesting to them.
Wow, that's a bloody good story.
Yeah, and he lives on his own now as well. He's living independently.
But that's one of many.
Yes.
Yep. To say, as time progresses and all that stuff, how do you capture all the wins? Like, because I was talking to somebody today, like, oh yeah, we did this. We were able to support a participant to do X, Y, and Z, but we keep forgetting to write it down and document this, so it's really hard to celebrate it. Do you have any systems in place that celebrates the wins between you and your team?
Yeah, so look, we don't do it religiously, I wouldn't say, but we do have our co-working, which is actually tomorrow because all of our staff work from home, but we come together sort of once every probably 6 to 8 weeks now, and not much gets done on those days sometimes, because you can imagine 20-something women coming together. It's a bit crazy. But we have had opportunities where we've gone around the table and got people to share their wins. And we also do that on the flip side of your challenges, so we can all support each other as well. But we also have an employment CRM, and that is something that Nat recently encouraged me to do. I love that kind of continuous improvement, and it's got a shout out thing on there. So anyone in the team, and it's not just then from leadership, it's anyone can do a shout out when they hear from a colleague that someone has done an amazing result. They do a shout out on this and tag them, and it's just beautiful to see all that love come in. And we then have, like, within that platform, a benefits thing, so we can give benefits to our staff to be like, hey, here's a $50 voucher or $20 voucher or whatever it might be for them to go and reward themselves as well.
Do you know, it's quite funny. Like, the more I do these Instagram lives, the more I realize how much teamwork is the dream work. Because when you're speaking about Nat, it was a week beforehand, I was speaking about another lady named Cassie. Like, they just seem to appear like these businesses are built around people. So I know it's like people knowing people, and it's all about people. If we didn't have these people in our businesses, I don't know about you, but I need that oomph. So I dare say my next question will be is, how do you continue to empower your support coordinators? Because it is tough. Like, let's be honest, support coordination is really tough. And there's topics and things that happen to the people that we serve's lives that are really hard.
Yeah.
How do you maintain and empower your team, knowing that some stuff is just it's hard to take on board?
Yeah, so we have a massive thing at Health Emporium about self-care and work-life balance. I think that's really important. So our coordinators all have a team leader, and that's each team leader only has 5 support coordinators, so they have that time to pour into them. So they've got so many layers of support there. So they can go to their team leader, they can go to Nat at HR, they can go to Zoe as the general manager.
Yeah.
And one thing I've stayed true to is, though, even though as the business grows, I can't be all things to all people, I always share to them, I am here to be there, that support for you. So just are always there to listen. And I guess we always from the get-go share with them that no question is a silly question. There's never any judgment.
Yep.
And trust me, I've asked it before, or I had to reach out to someone 5 years ago when it was just little Kylie. And it's just always empowering them that, especially if they don't get the win that they want, especially with the NDIS at the moment with the plans, and that comes back not the outcome they wanted. You know, I say to them, I've looked at your work and there's nothing more I could have done. You did your best, and that's all we can do. We don't have control at the end of the day of the NDIS outcomes. Yeah. But they're always lifting each other up and just trying to encourage them all the time. We're big on empowering them and celebrating that.
Because it is tough. Like, I know that, like, sometimes if I put when I was a provider hat on to working with support coordinators, one of the questions I would normally ask is, how many people do you provide support to? And for some odd reason, it was always around 30. Yeah. And then I hear people being like part-time, and then you sort of think, how do you manage that? Like, it is quite difficult to maintain that. So to support coordinators, well done. Like, I don't think I could have done it with what you had. The next question I've got is, under the NDIS and where it's going, do you have like any predictions where you think it's going or what's going to happen next? Because if you had your crystal ball, what would it look like?
The magic crystal ball question of will we be called a navigator? First of all, who came up with that name? Seriously, I don't want to navigate anyone's life, and no one wants me to navigate their life. That's so terrible. Honestly, I think that there's going to be change coming, and there needs to be change. There needs to be some clarity around the role and the quality that needs to be delivered. For Healthy Emporium, we are prepared to pivot with whatever that looks like. I think there will always be some form of support coordination. It might not be support coordination as we know it today, but it will always be there. If there's going to be hubs, I'm really concerned, because I know for the participants that we support, there is no way that majority would not go into a hub and go, I'm seeing Kylie today, Sally tomorrow, Lisa the next day, and sharing my story over and over again, because that is one of the most biggest pain points for these participants. And I want to be that. I say to them when we do our intake, I'm so sorry, this is going to be a lot, but share your story with my coordinators once and we will be that sounding board for you going forward. So I think, yes, it is going to change. It is going to pivot, but I think there is a need for it to ensure that there's a bit more clarity and quality across the support delivery. But I don't have the crystal ball to know what it is.
All I can see is just some very nervous lacks walking around.
Yeah.
With pivoting, have you started to look into or make changes in your business to pivot if it does come? Because sometimes I'll go to bed at night and there's a new price guide out and something crazy would happen. I was like, I was not prepared for that. Like, I didn't see that coming. Yeah. Have you put anything in play at current just in case, like a plan B?
So we have the foundations and the structure to be able to pivot. If it becomes a hub and we have to have that, we're ready for that. We're able to do that. If it becomes a tender process, we're strong enough with the relationships and people that we have to be supported to present a tender. So we've put those kind of provisions into place. And we're just keeping up on top as much as we can. I shouldn't say we're keeping on top, because let's be honest, anyone that says they know all things NDIS, run a mile, because they don't. I don't know all things.
It's like another red flag, isn't it? I need to get my red flags out.
You're never going to know. Like, seriously, what I know right now is different in 5 minutes' time. So, but we keep up to date as much as we possibly can. We have so many leaders in the industry that we also pour into. We give a lot of support and guidance to other providers that are smaller than us that may not have that support network. So yeah, we're just making sure we keep on top of it, keep ahead. We actually had an opportunity, which when the email first came, I was like, like Natalie sent me an email saying the commission wants to come and do a site visit. And I was like, oh my God, what have we done wrong? We're so compliant. But it's a visit to actually look at and like have discussions around quality and compliance and things like that. And I'm like, yes, please. You know, so we actually have that coming up, which is super exciting, which a lot of people would probably frown upon and go, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, well, it's actually an opportunity to get in front of those commission hierarchies, I guess, and go, this is what kind of needs to be delivered, and this is where the industry should be, you know, leading with the support coordination.
So that's coming up, did you say?
Yeah, in like a week or 2 weeks time, like literally.
Are you excited?
Yeah, so that's exciting.
Yeah. So who turns up? Like, because I've never heard, like, you know, who turns up from the commission?
Yeah, there's 2 people from the commission coming. Fantastic.
They're not bringing donuts, are they?
Who knows? It'd be nice. I love donuts. I won't say no to a donut.
Does that work, actually, where I've got you? Because I was talking to a lady probably yesterday that was saying that I have gone to support coordinators' offices and I've given donuts to, you know, see if I can get any work. And I was like, well, did you get any work from them? No. I was like, so I'm going to take true or false, do donuts work in offices?
No, the girls will love it. We've had them sent to us as well, and we've had to share, but they're not going to get you any work. We're gonna have a nice meal, a nice treat that day.
But if you're watching this and you do like donuts, are you an Oreo or are you a strawberry?
Yeah, no, strawberry, not an Oreo, guys. Come on, no.
Sorry, I had a bit of fun with that. So with everything that's going on in the future, the next price guide comes in, is it June or July?
Generally the 1st of July, and they might drop it on the 1st of July and not give you any time to be prepared for it. But, you know, we roll with it.
Are you hoping that the next price guide comes with a price increase for support coordination because it hasn't occurred for some time?
I would really like that. I keep on saying on the 1st of July every year, everyone gets a pay increase and I get a decrease because everything goes up, superannuation, work, all these things, but the NDIS doesn't seem to value support coordination. So it would actually be lovely if they did, and it would also be an opportunity to be able to reward the staff as well.
100%.
Because we've been trapped. You know, I'm very transparent with my staff around, you know, we can only pay a certain rate because of the NDIS challenges. And I think they truly respect that transparency as well when I come from that space.
So you're saying that you're an NDIS business that doesn't have a Ferrari?
No, I don't have one.
I hear some of the language going around, like, you know, profiting and all that stuff. It isn't as big as people think it is. No. It is actually a really fine line, and it's a lot of hard yakka for that fine line.
Yeah, a lot of hours, a lot of sleepless nights. You know, I try to teach my staff to, you know, tap out at the end of the day, don't carry it, but I hope they're not watching. I do. I carry it.
That's because it's your business, and that's because it's your love, your passion, and it's your reputation, and you want to make sure that whoever you provide care for gets the best quality, and that is. And I don't know about you, but I'm obsessed with my business, and I dare say that you're the same.
Definitely, yeah. It's my little baby.
So is there anything more like that you've got any questions or anything more from tonight's live?
No, it's
Because
been
you're welcome
absolutely
to ask
amazing.
me anything. No
I guess I'd
topic
love
is
to
off.
hear, love for you to share a little bit more. I know that we've connected a little bit, and so has Nat. But for the
Yeah.
people watching, for you to share a little bit more about your business and what you're up to, where you're heading with this crazy little space we're in at the moment.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, throwing you on the
There's a lot
spot.
going on at the moment. I will be the first to say that I have got a lot. I feel like a computer at the moment with all my tabs open. So at current, I run the NDIS Brat Pack on schools, but I'm slowly closing that down at the end of the week, and my courses will be moving to another platform, which is really exciting. And I'll do a big announcement and all that stuff. I've got a project at the moment that I'm working on called the Support Worker Finder, which will benefit NDIS participants. So I've got a lot going on. So it's just trying to figure out where to put my energy and how to display it out there, pretty much. As long as, for me, it's that continuously, as long as I've the information that's coming out in the NDIS, and for me to share it with all my people on this on Instagram and such. That's about it. Like that's all the mischief I'm up to at the moment that I can tell you about.
Oh, there's more.
No, there's some really cool things going on in the space, and for me, it has always been about collaborating with others. And then from what I've done, I grow when you grow, we all grow together, and that's been the best way forward. 100%.
Yeah, that's
Love
so
it.
beautiful. I love that. It's so important that even like as support coordinators, I think it's really important that you just don't keep everything too close to your heart. Like pour into others. Don't have that scarcity mindset.
Yep.
Like I'm very big on. I have people that I refer to when a participant comes to us, and I go, actually, I don't think we're the right fit right now
Yep.
because you need face to face, and we're an hour away,
Yep.
or something like that. And we need those people in your corner that you trust, that you can say, we don't have the fit, but here's someone that I trust that will be able to support you.
We're not everything to everyone, and that's how I say to support workers, you can't be everything.
No.
And that's okay. But if you can't be everything to everyone, remember that participant, that family had contacted you. So it would have taken, for this person in particular, I remember a particular story, it took a lot of effort to get to you. Now this is your opportunity. If you can't do it, that's fine. Refer them to a individual or a company that can do it if you know the fit.
Yeah.
And it's something easy to do. If you haven't got, like, if you're already overworked and you can't slide any more work in, do it, because it means that they also remember you as a person as well, that you went to that extra effort and beyond to try to match them.
Yeah. We've actually it's funny you say that, because we have had to on-refer sometimes when we haven't had the right capacity, and we still get referrals from that person to us, but we actually didn't have them on board with us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really interesting. You actually have so much trust in us, but we haven't been able to deliver supports to you yet because you went to someone else and you're happy. And I think that's actually says a lot. It speaks volumes in that regard.
When you're picking support workers and stuff, I'm sorry, left of field, how much research do you do into them? Do you dive into their social media or their LinkedIn or their IG? Like, are you diving any further than just the email that you received?
No, social media is a massive one. Social media tells a lot.
Yeah.
And when we're recruiting as well, like for support coordinators, we're going to go and look at all of that thing and that area. And I think if people aren't, you're missing a very important piece to a true, authentic vision of someone and what they're up to.
Because I must say that your Instagram is beautiful looking.
I can't take credit for that. I wish I would.
That is stunning. Before, so I have been following your work and how it's been, and then I have been in conversations to somebody called Natalie. And I have been watching how you grow and progress and how it's changed over the past 2 years as we've been following. So there is that progression as well. If moving forward, what's something that you would do differently if you could with your business?
I do honestly, I'm a bit of a believer that the journey is always perfect, how it goes, how it's meant to go. The only thing maybe would be, and this is just a a thing that we didn't do sooner. So we've opened up recovery coaching this year.
Yep.
We have had recovery coaching, I guess, in the past, but it's more those participants that had the recovery coaching funding but wanted to use it for support coordination, and it's been flexible. But we have the beautiful Jess in our team. If anyone's on watching and you want to see an amazing recovery coach, jump on our website and have a look at Jess. She is amazing. And she has been with us for some time, and that was something that she reached out and said, hey, I really want to take recovery coaching. And I look back, and because I predominantly was when I was doing, I do a little bit of support coordination now, not as much as I used to, but I still have those people that I hold very close to me. And as a specialist support coordinator, often I would get recovery coaching in the plan, and it was incredibly hard to find like someone. They are like rare as hands feet. Like they are so hard. And then you've got to try and find the right fit in the right place, the right personality, like all these things. So I guess the only thing I would do is find the Jess sooner and be able to offer that service, because we literally opened, I guess, the floodgates, so to call it, in January. And it's been like we've already, I think, done our first quarter goals. Nat would know more about that because that's their area. But that would probably be the only thing that I would do. But I am a big believer, especially support coordination, and no disrespect to any providers on here that might offer all things, but I do believe that support coordinators should stay as support coordinators and not offer all services. I've stood true to that because I just feel there's, I don't know, too much conflict, and you've got too much trust from the participants, all those things. So I've never opened up to anything else, but psychosocial recovery coaching is obviously in that support coordination bucket and alignment. So I feel that with how much lacking it was in the industry, I feel like it could have been done sooner, but the journey is perfect for where it's at.
So if somebody wants to, just say watching this right now, wants to refer anyone to you, what's the best way to refer to you?
Yeah, so on our website we have a referral form, and it allows all the information. So I used to think, oh, I don't want to be that company that has a referral form and not speak to a real person. You can still call up and speak to Nat and have that. But it stops all that 101 questions, because the vital information that we need, or that Nat and our admin team need, is all captured in there. And it gives you that opportunity to do that at your pace as well, and be able to fill out that information. So we find that is the best way to get that information. Sometimes I'll fill it out and be like, but I still want to have a chat. Perfectly fine. Reach out and have that chat. Some people are like, I don't want to talk to you. That's way out of my comfort zone. Some going to jump on a video chat and have it with you. And that's okay too. But yeah, the referral link is the best.
If a participant can't do the referral link, is it okay for a support coordinator to come meet them at a cafe and fill it in with them?
So we do meet and greets if needed. Honestly, they're few and far between now. I don't know if that's just on reputation and I guess the work we do prior to connect. Sometimes they will have a video call or chat. And if they can't do that, maybe someone else will do it for them, or they'll have that call with Nat, or someone will go and meet them and get all that information for them. It's really everyone's individual, right? And that's how it should be in this space. Everyone needs to be treated as an individual and supported of how they best communicate and get that information across.
All right. So is there any big things in the future you want to tell me about, or you're keeping them to your chest?
No, look, this year it's just that continuing to grow. We want to expand a lot more in South Australia. We have a beautiful team over there. The only thing, obviously recovery coaching, I feel like is just going to organically grow, like support coordination has for us. But we're also looking into, I guess, the big secret, whether we do it or not, is the employment area. I just feel that there is way too many people with disability that don't have an opportunity for employment because they're not. Is just not. It's a resume and a cover letter. They need someone to go out and tell that business owner, that participant's strengths and weaknesses, to set them up for success. I think too many participants don't have a job when they could have, because they haven't been given that support. Go in, like they'll get a job. I've seen it with my participants. After 3 months, every time they're terminated, and it's like, why is this happening? Like, what's going on? But it's not my role. They've got a desk. I don't want to stand on someone else's foot, so I'm going to stay in my lane. But I guess my analysis and what I have seen, and it's just my own assumption, is that if you actually went out and said they can't work at the front counter because social situations are too hard for them, and you get them out the back packing or whatever it might be, that could be the magic answer for them having longevity, as opposed to no one having that conversation. The owner has no idea, says, I need someone on the till, you're on the till, and they have no concept of money or those social skills yet, you know. So employment is an area I'm looking into. But just navigating, what does that look like, you know, from a face-to-face, an online program. My brain has probably as many tabs as you have open for that one little thing.
But I think it's that quality, because you're a person that delivers quality. So it is trying to figure out, how do I get to this part and deliver and still have that benchmark that I want?
Yeah. And it's hard. It's, I don't know, like obviously online seems to be, you can capture a lot more people and help a lot more people, but it's probably, I need to get a survey out to the whole NDIS community that asks, what do you need employment?
Well, you've got the commissioner coming in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Is there any questions from the crowd? Well, I'll have a quick look if there's any questions. I got one question saying, who is your favorite employee?
Oh, I can't answer that question. That's like asking me who's my favorite child.
Who brings Tim Tams? That's what I would be asking.
Yeah, if they bring white chocolate ones, even better.
Oh, I'm a double choc girl.
No, that's too much.
I do have, all I have here is hats off to support workers who go above and beyond. The impact on participants is incredible, and I really want to do more and become a recovery coach. If anybody was looking to be a support coordinator with you in the future, is it the process? Is it to jump online on your website to fill an application, or is it as it goes? Like, is it, how often do you get opportunities to get a role with you?
Well, look, if it's anything like 24, we recruited every 4 to 6 weeks, and 25 is looking the same. So quality problem. We don't have an application thing online, but I'm sure Nat's probably on here, and I'm sure she's going to be onto that. That's a whole other idea.
Guess what Nat's doing tomorrow?
But we try not to advertise on Seek, to be honest. We do get people that are coming to us, and I will say some people, and I love this part, and it probably talks volumes about healthy employment, that people will say, sometimes email and say, have you got a position? I'm like, no, we're literally just recruited, but you know, this company's recruiting. They're like, oh no, I'll wait till you have an opportunity. I've heard a lot about you. And I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool. Like, so kind of becoming that a little bit of employer of choice, which is awesome. But yeah, I think one of the big things is this, I see it on a lot of Facebook groups where people have so much transferable skills, but they're being declined job after job because everyone's like, you need 2 years experience. And I get them, like, how do you get the 2 years if no one's willing to give you that? So we do take on inexperienced coordinators. We have a whole training platform which actually goes for 5 days for them to learn how to be a support coordinator. They sit with Zoe, the general manager. And sorry to anyone on here that's going to come on, you have to listen to me for 5 days. You get sick of hearing my voice in these recorded videos. But the reason we did that was because Zoe was training them, and there's a lot, right? As you said, support coordinator is huge. You're never going to retain all that information. So then after that week, it was like, what did you say about that again? Like, what was happening there? So we went, let's create it once, and then they keep on referring back, because they might come on and they'll do plan review training, but you might not do a plan review for 6 months. As if they're going to remember that information. Near impossible. So then they can be like, oh, I'm doing a plan review. I'm going to go back to that training that, you know, I did in my, you know, initial induction. That then saves everyone's time. They can go and watch it. And if they still have questions, they go to their team leader. That's no problem. But yeah, I think that's a big thing that I see in the industry, that too many people aren't given the opportunity, and there are some people who have incredible transferable skills. That can come across. But
for you to put that platform in, this isn't something that's given by the NDIS. This is something you've made a business decision because you've seen that this is really important.
And people don't even know what is and isn't the scope of a support coordinator. Because I tell you, sometimes I feel like I'm a lawyer, I'm a negotiator, I'm a counsellor. Actually, I started my diploma of counselling because of that. Haven't finished it, but I just feel like we're so many things, an accountant, all these, titles, and the NDIS, that's one thing with this pivot of everything, is they really need to get clear on what is and isn't the role. So everyone, like, we'll have people come to us and want us to do something, and we'll say that's actually not within the scope. And it can cause some tension. So like, well, my previous support coordinator did that, or my previous support coordinator found a way to claim that. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but that's actually not in line with the guidelines. So,
a little bit unethical.
Yeah. So it's really hard. And that's why we went, we have to just do our own training, because there is some amazing support coordination training courses, and with other companies, like, we don't do that. We just do it with our own internal process things. But anyone wanting to be a support coordinator, go and learn the basics, come with, know what core and capacity and capital is, know what kind of self-managed, plan managed, what does that mean? Go and educate, like anyone, right? If you want to go and do something, you go and upskill yourself in that area.
When I don't know anything, I just slide into people's comments, like messages, and I do it because if I want to know a bit more, I will go that extra further to find that information. I don't think there's anything such as a stupid question.
No,
really. Yeah. Well, that's all I had for tonight.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me. If there's any other questions, feel free to put the comment.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I've learned a lot. I've got a lot to work with, and I hope that one day I see you in Victoria.
Yes.
That would be pretty cool.
I will definitely, whenever I'm in the area, have like a couple of participants in Victoria that we support remotely just through referrals. That was, thankfully, they had their own support network already, because I don't know anyone in Victoria. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
So amazing to connect with you. I appreciate the time here tonight.
All good, my friend. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night and see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.